All right, everybody. In this one, we're going to look at 7.2 homework problem. And in this problem, we do have some detail kind of already given to us. I'm going to do one thing just because I am picky. I'm going to change this all to Calibri format. And I like things to be more, that's not good, but I like more of my rows to be consistent. Just kind of bothers me otherwise, so feel free to do that or not do that. That might just be me. And like that one, we already have a total thing here. And yeah, okay. So in this problem, we have a company that has an accounts receivable aging, and we have an estimation of uncollectible accounts. And so just to discuss what an AR aging is here, again, we have amounts that are due to us. And this breakdown basically tells you how old balances are that are outstanding to us. So in these numbers, like if you were getting in the real world, this would be this is a summation of a bunch of individual accounts. And so here we can see, the accounts that we have that are over 90 days past due are 12,000, and so it's just how long have these been outstanding, these amounts that are owed to us. And then we come up with an estimate for how likely it is that these amounts that are outstanding are going to be uncollectible. And the older an account is, the more likely it is to be uncollectible. That's kind of a pretty primary assumption, because if it's way past due, it's way overdue, it should have already been collected a long time ago, there's a high likelihood that it's at high risk of not being collected ever, basically. So anyway, that's kind of how the aging report works and the uncollectible percentages. And so to come up with our estimate then for the dollar, amount of the allowance that we think we should have using this kind of AR method, we just do the percentage that we estimate to be uncollectible times the outstanding balance. And then we sum those up. I think we just paste that same formula there. So we sum those up, and our total comes out to 40,085. Again, that's just the percentage estimated uncollectible times the outstanding balance. So total AR is 915,000. And then again, this is broken down by when did that sale basically originally occur. And if it occurred a long time, they were supposed to pay us, and it's been over 90 days since that amount was due to us. Again, high likelihood we're not going to collect on that amount at all. And so here we're asked to do a couple things. We are asked to record the journal entry to estimate bad debts at year end, and assuming an allowance balance of 6,000, so credit balance here. So let's put a little T account in, and this will be let's merge cells. So this will be our allowance for, doubtful accounts contra asset. And what we're saying here is we already have a $6,000 balance in that account. And so when we do our analysis, we're doing the AR aging method again. So we're going to have to account for this credit balance that's already in there. So keep that in mind. And here we're going to record the journal entry. So this is us recording that journal entry. And so let's do the journal entry down here. We're doing this at the end of the year. And just like we normally do, we have bad debts expense. And then we have allowance for doubtful accounts. I'm going to make those smaller and not highlighted so we can fit those in better. And so here's what we're, you might be tempted initially to just go, our bad debts is going to be 40,085 because that's, the amount that we see here. But remember that when we're doing the AR aging method, and we're using AR as our guiding source there, we want our total allowance for doubtful accounts to end up at 40,085. And we already have $6,000 to start with on a credit balance, right? We want this credit balance to end at $40,085. So we don't need, we're not going to credit it for $40,065. We're going to want to take, we're going to want to end up with $40,085. And so to do that, I'm just going to put that as the ending amount and then back out what we already had, and we end up with $34,085. So that becomes our bad debts expense, because we already have some on the books, some bad debts allowance amount here of $6,000 already there. So we don't need the full thing. And we can just say aging estimate bad debts. Okay. So that's our AR method, the aging method. And then in step B, it asks us to record a journal entry in the following year if when dead company goes bankrupt owing $5,000. So let's just assume January 31st. This is the following year. And here when we actually write off that receivable, because we're sure it's not going to be collected at this point, then we debit our allowance for doubtful accounts, and that's going to be $5,000. I'll do the accounting on our T account kind of here just to see how that's going to all play out. And so our allowance is then reduced by that amount, and it ends up at $35,085. So we debit allowance for doubtful accounts for the amount that was owed to us. Here was $5,000, it tells us, and then our credit goes to accounts receivable. So we have now actually written off that account. So we will no longer have this on our books, in this balance. It's gone. We are confident that we're not going to receive those amounts. And we're just going to put it as our explanation, dead co bankruptcy. Unfortunately, they owed us money. We're not thinking we're going to get it. So we write that balance off as a receivable. And, it might still go through the legal process. Maybe we do get paid out through bankruptcy or something. But as far as our expectations and our accounting, we're going to take that out of our receivable balance and also take it out of our allowance for doubtful accounts. And so then we end up with $35,085. And, as we go through the year doing all the rest of our stuff, we would then get to the end of the year again. If this was the end of the year, let's just say, for example, at the end of the next year, we end up with a similar thing. We would then need to account for the fact that we already have $35,085 here. And so our ending target allowance would need to incorporate that, just like we incorporated the $6,000. So, okay, that's the A and the B. And I think we got everything on this problem. And that's it. So thanks, everybody. And click on to the next video here for 7.3.